Proven. Brand new, non-stem, pre-workout, just released from HR Labs. Now, I definitely had high expectations on this. I'm not going to lie. I had high expectations when I seen the ingredient panel that Liam had put together for this. When it eventually came, I got to try it. I got to test it when we had the HR Labs open day at the Physique Club. I got to try it, and on that day, I found that it exceeded my expectations, not just from a taste perspective. There's also one that's a fruits flavour, which if you're a fan of them, I don't need to say anymore. From a pump perspective, from a performance, energy perspective, just very good. All-rounder, very, very, very good. And especially if you're somebody that trains at night time, especially if you're somebody that trains after 3 o'clock and doesn't want to take in any caffeine, or even just doesn't like a stem-based pre-workout, because not everybody likes a stem-based pre-workout. I had high expectations because of the panel, but I was also pretty skeptical, I'm not going to lie, because I'm a fan of big stems. Like, I love stems. So when I took it and I found that I actually got a lot of benefits from it, I was like, right, shit, maybe I can actually pull back a little bit from the stems and get away with this. Now, it has just been released. It's released in like 5 different flavours. Off the top of my head right now, can't remember them. A couple of my go-tos just to begin with has been the fruits flavour and this one right here, which is gummy bears. So this is the one we're going to take today. I'm also going to take you guys through 6 of my go-to arm exercises to stop you walking about with a set of noodle arms. So make sure you're not neglecting your arm work, because we see it all the time. And this is going to be my 6 go-to movements to make sure that your arms blow up. Now, I think we've got to state the obvious to begin with. We need to be training hard, we need to be training heavy, we need to be training with intensity. We can't just be going in and doing these movements and thinking that if we just take a back seat and don't really perform them with any sort of accuracy and intensity whilst coming home, recovering, eating, and doing them consistently, we're going to get a lot out of them, because we're not. So kickstarting the session off here with some weighted dips. I'm a big fan of a dip. Don't get me wrong, there's many ways you can perform a dip. However, something so original, something so basic, grabbing a weight belt, loading it up no matter what weight you are putting on it, whether you're putting a 5 kilogram plate on it or you're putting 4 plates on it, just perform some weighted dips, because trust me, they will be an absolute game changer for your arm thickness, your arm size, your overall strength capacity. It will carry over to other movements, not just benefit your arm growth. It'll have a great carryover towards things like pressing movements, which I definitely could not suggest enough. So for me here, I took it up to 2 working sets. I done a set of body weight plus 3 plates, and I done a body weight plus 2 plates into a drop set of just body weight. So it was nice enough for me. I don't get me wrong, I don't run these consistently. I go between doing these. I go between doing a dip machine. I also go between a close grip or narrow grip press. However, I'm a big fan of these, so it's not as if they'll just ever be missed. Now, moving on to biceps, EZ bar, barbell curl, no EZ bar on the cables here. Again, I'm just a massive fan of an EZ bar, only because of that freedom at the wrist. It's a little bit more supported just because of the angle of where you've got your wrist in your hand. At the same time as that, it's nice because you can really load the EZ barbell up, which I definitely like. A little bit of body momentum in there. Don't get me wrong, I'm not purely standing up crazy straight and performing extreme stretch reps, but I definitely think there's merit in kind of moving away from that until you're maybe performing things like back off sets. I performed 3 sets here, and I done my last one, which was a drop set, so it was, or a down set I should say anyway, sorry. However, the 2 main ones were definitely big top sets, where yes, of course I allow for a little bit of body language in there, but in all honesty, without even having a big head, I genuinely wouldn't say that it's been detrimental towards my bicep growth. So from that perspective, I'm always going to train them like this. I won't probably move across to a very, very, very crazy, strict, no body language whatsoever way of training them. Same goes with the intra-workout. No matter what we're training, guys, like what I've said to you already, it doesn't matter what the session is. I'm still going to be taking in my intra-carbohydrates, my Hydro A, which is my essential amino acid, because the output, the energy that goes into them is the exact same. No matter whether the demand is going to be there or not,
the exact same effort is always going to be applied. I'm always breaking myself down, I'm always taxing my body, so I make sure and take in exactly what I need. Now on here, a drag curl variation. So from this side of things, I really like to be able to emphasize that stretch as much as I possibly can. I am dealing with a little bit of a niggle through my forearm itself right now and in the middle of my elbow where my humerus is at. However, it's not something that's crazy bad. It's just a case of I need to be careful in the length and ranges, which you will see throughout my preacher curls that I do in this video as well. However, this drag curl, very big fan of this one, purely because you can really emphasize that stretch as much as possible. For how far you need to be able to bring it through to get the bicep fully short, I think this is absolutely perfect. So I really am a big fan of a drag curl. Now, the brand new attachment from Strength Shop, you guys have seen this already, I believe anyway. It's more flat for your palms, for your hands, which just feels absolutely perfect. I really favor this now since I've been able to get it in over a bar where you're having to wrap your full hand around the bar, only because from a perspective of my tricep training, overhead extension work, to be honest, even pullover work as well, but mainly because we're doing tricep overhead extensions here as my next exercise, this has been something that's been a game changer for my progress, only because I've been able to load it very heavy. I've been able to not put my wrists under crazy pressure, and it's just felt significantly better, especially on things over the head where your wrists are always in a very vulnerable spot. So overhead extensions, which I'm a big fan of the overhead extension machine, was that next movement. Moving on from there, keeping the bar the exact same, guys, the Strength Shop attachment for my pushdowns. It kind of acts as a more so EZ bar as well, just because of you having a little bit of freedom of it not just being a full-on straight bar. However, for something so basic, I'm really trying to be able to get the emphasis all the way through every single head of my triceps, which, guys, remember, your triceps are made up of 3 heads. You need to be making sure that you are not just marrying yourself to something like just a push down, and that is exactly it. We want to be targeting it from all areas of where we need to be in order to be able to ensure that every single head is being hit. For me personally, my triceps aren't a strong body part, therefore they do need that additional work. But finishing off here, my 6th and final exercise for you guys is the single arm preacher. Don't get me wrong, you don't necessarily have to do them with a dumbbell, but placing a dumbbell in here in case you maybe don't have access to lots of equipment, it's basic, it's simple. Find a dumbbell. You don't even need a preacher curl bench. You can get something like just a normally regular, maybe 55-60 degree bench, and these will be absolutely perfect. You could even perform them on a machine or a cable. But finishing off on these ones, again, just being able to take them as heavy as what I need, nothing crazy. Again, just emphasizing both, looking to be able to take myself as far as what I need to for the niggle that I'm dealing with right now in that stretch, but really prioritizing that shortened range as much as I possibly can. Another big favorite of mine, whether I do them with dumbbells or on the initial machine itself. Now, any questions on this session, guys, on the 6 movements that I've just took you across, please do not hesitate to drop a comment down below. Let me know, especially if this is maybe some more content you would like to see similar to this. If you can drop the video a like, please subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I'll catch up with you all in the next one.